Today's project will be around a novice level, and it's recommended for anyone trying to pick up a new coding language. If you haven't yet checked out my prior video, I would definitely recommend checking it out, as it will help a lot of things in this episode make a bit more sense. Link will be in the description. Today we will talk about adding delay to your program, and we will review how to add text and talk about a few more things you can do with it. If you look on the screen, this is what we will be making today, and if we run the program, you'll see on the right a countdown will start from 5 to blast off. And if you're feeling up for it, I'll also talk about an extra challenge you can try later this video. If you want to copy this down, feel free to pause here. Now I'll delete my code so that we can go over this piece by piece. So to start, we're going to type hashtag include a less than one symbol. Inside the less than one symbol, we are going to write IOStream. And then the reason we do this is because IOStream contains all of C++'s basic functions that we'll be likely using later on in this video. If I do hashtag include again, we'll do the same thing with less than one symbol. This time inside of them, we'll write chrono. And one more time again, hashtag include less than one symbol. This time it'll be thread. The reason we do chrono and thread is because chrono deals with time and thread is just one more tool that we'll need when implementing delay later on. So now if we go to a new line, at this point I just go down a few lines because it helps organization and it looks nice. And I will type int main a set of normal brackets and then a set of curly brackets. If we go to a new line inside of the curly brackets, the rest of our code will be inside of them. Now we're going to write using namespace std 2 colons, and now we are going to write literals. If we do 2 more colons, now we are going to go chrono underscore, oops, spelled chrono wrong, there we go, chrono underscore literals. Now if we do a semicolon, finish it off, the reason we do this is because while it's not explicitly necessary, it's one complicated bit that will greatly simplify the way we add delay from now on. This works by having a namespace, a context for various commands that's automatically used where it would normally be, so that you don't have to type it out each time. For example, you could also do this with std, but for the simplicity of this video, I refrain from doing this as it's not overly hard to remember to type out std, then the 2 colons in some specific scenarios. So now going down a line, we're going to follow the same steps as I explained in my last video and do std 2 colons C out. So std is standing for standard for anyone wondering. C out is character output. We'll do a space, 2 less than signs, no space, set of quotes. Now deviating slightly from what we explained in the last video, we're going to do a space, 2 more less than signs, space, std 2 colons, and then end L, end line. Now we're going to finish it off with a semicolon. One final step, now we'll be implementing delay. We're going to do std 2 colons and then this underscore thread and then 2 more colons and then sleep underscore 4 and a set of brackets. Inside the brackets, you're going to write the time that you want the delay to be set for in seconds and then S for seconds. So if I want 5 seconds, I do 5S. If I want 1 second, I do 1S. Now we're going to finish it off with a semicolon. Now I'm going to repeat this process a few times till I have a full countdown, and then I'll explain why we handle text a bit differently in this video. See you then. So here you'll see I've duplicated the process a few times, and inside the quotes I have everything I want to display on the screen in the order I want it to be displayed. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off inside the quotes, and in between we have 1 second delays. So if I run the program, we'll see that the countdown will start, and we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 blast off being displayed. So now I'll finally stop keeping all of you waiting and explain why we handle text slightly differently in this video. The reason we handle text differently is there are actually 2 ways you can print out text. You can do what you'll see near the top of the screen, where it says STD, 2 colons, C out, a space, 2 lesson signs, a space, set of quotes, and then a semicolon. Or you can do what you'll see near the bottom of the screen, where you'll see the same up to the quotes, but then after the quotes we'll have a space, 2 lesson signs, a space, and then we'll say STD, 2 colons, and L, and then we have a semicolon. And this makes the difference between going to a new line after the text printed on the bottom or staying on the same line, which you'll see on the top. And this is actually a lot more useful than it may immediately seem. To start, I'm going to go through some examples of what you can do on the top. One use is if you're ever running a calculation. When you're printing stuff out, you don't necessarily have to do text. You can also do math. So if instead of having quotes where the quotes would normally be, you put an equation like 2 plus 2, the computer will figure out the answer and print that out instead of any text. So 2 plus 2 is, and then whatever 2 plus 2 is should be printed out. And you'll see that it'll figure out 2 plus 2 is 4. Now in my next episode we're going to talk a bit more about how we can use this when we're discussing variables and if statements. But as you can see, this is a lot nicer than if 4 were on a new line. It might be a bit confusing, especially if you have a few calculations in a row. For example, if you were to say 2 plus 2 is 4 and 4 plus 4 is 8, then it would be confusing with all the new lines. So that's one use of not going to a new line. Now I'm going to talk about a few uses of going to a new line after the text is printed out. And just as a reminder, this is the command that you would use to do this, and whatever you put in the quotes will appear on the screen once the program is ran, and then after it's printed that out, it'll go to a new line. So in this program, I have got 2 different uses, both making use of it in the exact same way. So here you'll see it says, now you see me, now you don't, and then clears off the screen. And the 2 things I want to discuss is, one, you might have seen that there was a 1-line gap between now you see me and now you don't. And that's just by leaving the quotes empty, it prints out nothing, and so it just goes to a new line. So I'll run that program one more time so that you can see this a bit clearer. But now you see me, now you don't. And that's one thing that's very useful if you want to separate 2 paragraphs or organize a big blob of text to make it easier to read. And then second, a bit more obvious one, is it cleared the screen. And since there's no exact way to clear the screen, we have to get creative. If we go to a new line a whole bunch, I've just done the same command, copy and paste, quite a few times, it'll go to a new line enough times that the rest of the stuff disappears off the top of the screen. And one thing that I find neat about this is if we scroll up, you can actually see, here's everything that we cleared off the screen. So these are 2 good tricks that you can use whenever you want to organize your text. And approaching the end of the episode, I'm going to recommend that as you learn various commands, keeping note of them somewhere, so that if you forget what you need to type out for one of them, you can just go to the note and copy off of that, because they can be very hard to memorize at first. And as you get more and more familiar, you can slowly transition away from the note and learn to do them on their own. This is one thing that I did when I was first learning C++, and it's one thing that I think makes it a lot easier. Ending off the episode, I'll leave you with a challenge. My challenge to you is to try and incorporate one of the 3 tricks we just discussed into the program we started this episode with making. If you have an idea of your own about how to use the way text is printed, feel free to incorporate it in the program instead. And if you're feeling comfortable, let me know how you incorporated it into the comments. That's it for now. Bye.